Now the SuperPershing will actively fight back. I'm unable to play the SuperPershing myself because I don't own one, and there are terms and conditions that state that I'm not supposed to be driving another player's tanks for whatever reason. I'm in the Cromwell this time, and this is a Tier 6 British medium tank. However, it does have the maneuverability and speed and acceleration of a scout tank. So this is more of how you should not fight a scout tank. You shouldn't drive up to it like this and let it circle you and get around, track you continuously and stuff like that. Now obviously this scenario is not exactly what's going to be happening in public matches because, well, there's 14 other tanks that you have to worry about that you don't have, well, that I don't have to in this match. I only have to concentrate on this one Tier 8 tank, but it kind of shows you a little bit of what the SuperPershing can and cannot do. As you can see, I am letting myself take some hits so that I can actually get in close enough and avoid the preceding hits, sorry, future hits from the SuperPershing. And that's the end of that. Next tank, we've got, well, I've got the Black Prince, and Kanzo is taking an alternate route to our meeting point, basically. However, he got spotted. This is slow tank versus slow tank. The Black Prince is a Tier 7 British heavy tank with a fairly fast-firing gun, and it's not that bad at accuracy either. Now you can see I'm trying to poke out cautiously, and Kanzo is doing exactly the same thing. He is backing up a little bit too much, but it could be a tactic in a public match where people will assume that you're going the other direction because your icon is moving that way. As you can see, I'm actually looking in the other direction. But the aiming time on the Black Prince manages to be good enough so I can snapshot in, and Kanzo gets a nice shot in as well. So he's tracked me, and this is where a repair crew would come in. Otherwise, you need to use a small repair kit, and as you can see, I just fixed my tracks in time. Both of us are not going to be using any consumables. It doesn't look like Kanzo's even holding any at all, so he can't really use any. This is the typical way that most tank drivers play. They kind of peek out. Well, I'm talking about my Black Prince view right now. I'm just driving forward, showing the front of my tank, and he's going through all the weak points right now, as you can see right there. I'm still doing it, but now I'm going to start side scraping. And the 170mm penetration cannon on the SuperPershing does not do well with that. Now, as you're waiting for a reload, you should always move around a little bit, assuming that the enemy player is trying to aim for a weak point, a commander's hatch, machine gun ports, things like that. And I'm just going to rock back and forth so that he can't get in a good aim. He does kind of the same thing on some of these matches, but it doesn't work out extremely well. And the Black Prince's 171mm of penetration is working pretty well so far. Nothing much happening right now. We're basically dancing around and trying not to get hit. I'm on low health, and he is also on low health. Kanzo starts making a move, and I manage to get a nice shot into the commander's hatch right there. Now he's finally moving out and using that frontal hull armor, and I managed to ram a track out of him. And he gets my tracks as well, so I'm gonna start aiming for that point right there, which is not covered by spaced armor. And he's aiming at my weak points, however I'm managing to bounce somehow. And here we are with the Type 59. This is a close range battle, I suppose. And as you can see, he did the right thing, Kanzo did the right thing by trying to track me, however he didn't manage to get that shot in just right. This is typically what you're gonna expect from medium tanks. They're gonna circle you. Now you may be able to get your turret on them once again, like he's done right here. However, I'm anticipating this so that every time he gets his gun or he's ready to shoot me, I've got, well, I'm trying to angle my armor appropriately. This is a longer range encounter where we start off from the base, and I'm moving forward to see if I can spot him first, but we both get spotted at the same time. And he bounces off of me. I managed to track on him, and he's going to blind fire and manage to track and damage me at the same time. As you can see from a longer distance, the Type 59 is not as well off, I should say. So closing the distance with medium tanks against the SuperPershing is what you want to do. So next shot in is, well, I'm going to track him, and I'm going to get up closer, and hopefully I can perform as I did before. Now you can see I'm not actually using the zoom in function, or I'm not zooming in to fire into my shots because, well, the sight armor of a SuperPershing is not excellent. Okay, right here you see he's almost got his gun on me, so I decide to reverse out and actually angle my armor. Now that didn't work out too well, but you know, sometimes you can bounce, sometimes not. So it really depends on the appropriate angles and such. So I didn't actually get that. And I noticed his turret was moving a little bit slowly, and I think it's damaged. So he's managed to track me, and now you can just use the frontal weak points. Since you're up so close, you can just hit them at will. Now we're on Himmelsdorf, and this is a T32 versus the SuperPershing. T32 is actually much faster than the SuperPershing, and he manages to get a nice shot in on my hull armor, which is the weak point on the T32. Alright, so he's trying to get into cover. I managed to get a nice, well, another shot in onto his side armor. And you should try to avoid showing your side, well, of the SuperPershing to enemy tanks, because, well, you don't have much armor there. And most of it is on the front, and it's all spaced. As you can see, he was trying to shoot me in the commander's hatch, and I did the same to him. However, I managed to get a hit in. Now he's moving around, so I can't actually aim properly. But you can see that he's going to start aiming, and when he starts aiming, you just take a shot. Well, I missed right there. And the moment I take my shot, I'm starting to move around so that he can't get a proper aim on my weak points. Alright, so Kanzo is moving over in this direction to see if he can get in a sneaky shot on me. However, he didn't wait for the, I believe it's 3 seconds for the spot to disappear. And that means I can see his tank icon moving along, and you can see I anticipated that he was going to try and pop out from that window. that can be used to your advantage at some points in time. There we go, another shot into the commander's hatch of the SuperPershing. And Kanzo goes out. He just fired an HE shell into the thickest part of my armor, so it didn't do much damage, and now I can just fire into his tracks at will. Next tank is the KV-4, and this is really just a closer, I suppose, because the KV-4 has 180 millimeters of armor on the front, and the SuperPershing only has 170 millimeters of penetration, so you can't really penetrate the front of a KV-4. And this is just to show you that when you're facing a KV-4, don't face it from the front. There's really nothing you can do about it. Even aiming at weak point, it's hard to penetrate a KV-4. There you go, he's trying to aim for the top turret on the KV-4, which is kind of a weak point, but you do get surprising bounces off of it. He didn't actually hit it properly that time, and he's exposed his side armor, and I managed to track him. So the KV-4, you just want to avoid them or get shots in onto its side, because you can't really do much right there. Thanks for watching. Please press that like button and leave some comments. I'll see you in future videos.